Uh,
but it just has the dates for the me doing the welcome, you to do the updates for the we have two more town halls next week, the 12th and the 13th, Wolf Creek and Chattahoochee Hills City Hall, and then the dad's daughter the all drive began today and it's till next Friday.
say it again 3 times fast.
Dad's daughters dolls plus sons drive started today and it's till, are we live, Rico?
We are now live.
Good evening. My name is Dorcia Simmons. I am Chief of Staff for District 5 Commissioner Marvin Arrington Jr. Welcome to our annual Winter District Dialogues, where the 2024 budget will be overviewed and presented. Without further ado, here is Commissioner Arrington.
Good evening, everyone. So glad to have you all join us this evening for our 2024 Budget Town Hall. This is your Fulton County budget, not my Fulton County budget, but your Fulton County budget. And so it is important that we hear from you, the residents of Fulton County, about what is important to you, because our budget is your budget and your budget should be dictated by the items that are important to you. So, so glad to have you here for this. And I'll let Dorcia tell you about our upcoming town halls. I know we have one, I think, in South Fulton and one in Chattahoochee Hills coming up next week. So, uh, spread the word for those that couldn't make it tonight. Let them know about our upcoming events. And we also have our annual Dads, Daughters, and Dolls event coming up at the end of the month. So, where we give toys to the children of inmates at the Fulton County Jail. So, we're real excited about that program, and we hope to have your support in that as well. Dorcia?
Thank you, Commissioner. So next week, December the 12th and the 13th, that's a Wednesday, Tuesday and a Wednesday. Tuesday, the 12th, it'll be from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Wolf Creek Library in the city of South Fulton. On Wednesday, December the 13th, it will take place at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Chattahoochee Hills City Hall. For more information, you can check out our social media or our website. And the toy drive for Dads, Daughters, and Dolls Plus Son began today. You can make a donation at the Government Center on 141 Pryor Street or at the South Annex at 5600 Stonewall Tail Drive. Back to you, Commissioner.
All right. Well, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our resident expert, Miss Sabrina McTeer, so she can give us all of the juicy details about the proposed 2024 Fulton County budget. And the reason that it is proposed is because we do not yet have your input, the residents of Fulton County. So please, please, please let us hear from you about what is important for you in the next year's budget. Sabrina?
Thank you, Commissioner Arrington. Hello, everyone. Hello, fellow citizens. I am going to share my screen. My name is Sabrina McTeer. I am the budget manager for Fulton County government. I want to make sure that you all can see the presentation. I am here today happy to have the opportunity to share the 2024 proposed budget for our district. So the way that this will go is I will probably turn my camera off if possible. I'm having some latency issues and I want to make sure that the presentation does not stall. But we're going to start with a brief overview of where we are currently, what we projected toward the end of the year, and then what we have proposed and presented, and finally, our next steps. And this is where you all come in because we want to hear from you. So first is a brief overview of the general fund projections. We started the year with $224 million. as our fund balance, and we budgeted for $823 million to be received from various sources. We had a budget of 898, it's really 897 point something million dollars in expenditures, which was going to leave us with $150 million. During the mid-year, we projected that we would have slightly more revenue coming in, 832 million, and that we're going to spend slightly less than what we originally had budgeted. So all in all, we're looking at carrying over into fund balance $191 million. You're going to remember that number because it is important. The proposed budget doesn't just include the general fund. Now, the general fund is where you see a lot of the services that are provided to the county citizens. So my main focus will be on the general fund, but there are other appropriated funds that our Board of Commissioners gives authorization for us to spend from. So I talked really briefly about the general fund where the majority of the county services reside, but we also have the airport fund, which is right off of Fulton Industrial. We have our water and sewer fund. We have the services that come in when we provide you the water and sewer services for a certain portion of the county. But when you pay your water bill, that revenue that comes in, and then also the improvements to the water treatment plants. That's where the water renewal fund comes in. FID is our Fulton Industrial District. And then we're going to have a brand new animal services fund. Mostly those services, and it represents the services that we contract with the cities in Fulton County to provide the animal services. And, we just opened up the beautiful animal services facility off of I-20. So we have taken those costs that normally sit in the general fund, but they are going to be in their own fund. So if you say, what is that animal services fund? That's what that represents. We have the 911 emergency fund. We have the bond fund where you all voted for us to, build and also renovate our libraries. To pay the bonds for that, that's its own separate fund. Risk management, that's the risk fund. And then finally, it's a conglomerate of other funds that are usually special revenue in purpose, but we call them the Special Appropriation Fund. And if you look at 2024 for what we are proposing, the general fund is being proposed at $917 million. And next in line comes our water revenue fund at $164 million. The enhancements to the water treatment plants, that's coming in at 105, almost 106 million. And what's next? Our risk fund coming in at 60 million. So you can take a look, and of the appropriated funds that the Board of Commissioners will approve, we're coming in about $1.3 billion. On our next slide, I wanted to show you this $1.3 billion, but broken out by the, we don't call them priority areas anymore, the focus areas. So we have health and human services across all appropriated funds. There will be a $215.8 million investment. Justice and safety, 462, almost $463 million. Open and responsible, 266 million. Infrastructure and economic development at 337 million, and our arts and libraries coming in at 56.6 million. Now, I know I'm throwing around a lot of numbers, but I like to present the information in various ways. So that 191 million that I said we were going we're projecting, we're in December right now, so we're going to see what the numbers are looking like, but we're projecting to end the year at 191 million. That's that blue box there for our fund balance of what we will have to start the year. And then $879 million is what our proposed revenue is that we would bring in. And if you see $771 million of the 879, that comes from property taxes. So that's residential and commercial. We can't do or provide any services to the citizens without property tax revenue. So I just wanted you to see in context how we're able to actually function. Other revenue of the 879 million, we're projecting at 89 million to come in. And then finally, lost proceeds will come in. It's about 18.5, so we round it up to $19 million. And when I say lost, that is the local option sales tax. So 879 million is what we are proposing as revenue to come into the general fund, and 771 million of that will be from taxes. We're going to propose to spend about 917 million. And on the previous slide where I showed you by focus area, this also is another depiction of what that 917 is broken out for. So you see the lion's share is for justice and public safety at $424 million. And then if you have a lot of puts and takes, you have some money to start off with, more money that's coming in, money we're going to spend out. And by law or by a resolution as well, we have a fund balance resolution that we would keep 16.67% in fund balance of our expenditures. So what does that even mean? 16.67% really equals 2 months, that we have 2 months of expenses that we have that we would end in fund balance. So this is just another depiction of what we project that we're going to start with, the money that we project we will bring in, the budget that we're proposing for 2024, and then the ending fund balance. Now, it's a lot of words on this slide, but I want to always, oh, my camera, I'm trying to hide my home office back here, but you can't see it, but I promise it's on the public website. The 2024 budget booklet is there and it's available if you want to get into greater detail. And we'll also have this presentation available as well. But what I wanted to just highlight really quickly are we were talking large numbers, but how does this affect the different departments that are in those particular focus areas? So we're kicking it off with justice and safety at $424 million. And some of the departments or agencies that are in the justice and safety umbrella include the sheriff, Superior Court, our public defender, our clerk of Superior Court and magistrate court, pretty much all of our justice and public safety type partners, juvenile court, state court, police, the county marshal, medical examiner, probate court, child attorney, emergency services, the district attorney. We have some shared costs that are sitting in non-agency, emergency management, magistrate court, and the solicitor general. I know that it is probably small on your screen, which is why I wanted to list out the departments that are in the justice and safety focus area. The sheriff by far has the lion's share of this $424 million that's being proposed. The sheriff's proposed budget will be $146 million. And just briefly, I'll take 3 or 4 so you can understand what type of programs each agency or department is responsible for providing. So we know that the sheriff handles jail operations, court security, Superior Court is proposed at 33.4 million. This is for all Superior Court operations, including the judges. State Court, the same, 15.5 million is being proposed for 2024, and that includes funding for the courts and operations and the judges. I'll take the medical examiner. The proposed budget is 6.5 million, and this is for funding for autopsy and related services. Emergency services 911 for 3.4 million, funding for the 911 calls. The radio dispatch type services. We have some shared costs that I want to bring to your attention in non-agency, and that is about $70.6 million. And we are paying for some services that directly affect other agencies, such as outsourcing for inmate housing will be paid out of non-agency, hardening of the access points around the government center, and also we make a pension contribution to our employees. That would be paid out of non-agency, but it's related to the justice and safety focus area. So the proposed budget includes $424 million toward the justice and safety focus area. Next, we have open and responsible focus area. This is the one that used to be that, the citizens, all people trust that government is effective, efficient, and fiscally sound. So when you think about like open and responsible, you have the tax assessor, tax commissioner, you have my neck of the woods, the finance department, human resources, purchasing, a lot of these internal, we service the citizens, but we are also, our clients are not only the citizens, but also other departments. So you have registration and elections, the county attorney, the board of commissioners sit in open and responsible focus area, external affairs, our internal audit, our clerk to the commission, and there's some shared costs. So the proposed budget for these particular departments are coming in at $200.3 million. I'll choose the finance department really quickly. We have a proposed budget of $7.9 million, and that is proposed to fund for the services of administration, budget, cash management, the benefits and payroll, accounting, accounts payable, all of the services that we provide, not only forward facing to the citizens, but also to our fellow other departments as well. So next we have Health and Human Services. Health and Human Services' focus area is coming in proposed at $139 million. And the departments or agencies that are a part of the Health and Human Services focus area include Ryan White, which normally runs as a federal grant, but we also include a supplement for them, DFACS, who we pay for or give a supplement for foster care, indigent burials, and general assistance. That is being proposed at about $1.7 million. The Department of Community Development is being proposed at $10 million for next year, and they perform or provide the community services programs, children and youth services, permanent and supporting housing, a lot of the forward-facing services that you all have available to you. I'm about to say the Board of Health, but we're about to talk about the Board of Health. We have proposed $11.1 million, and the county does contribute to the Board of Health for some of their programs and also the salary supplement to employees that used to work for Fulton County but went over to the state. So we have $11.1 million. We have behavioral health, and we support school-based therapy, rehabilitation centers, diversion programs. That's coming in at $18.8 million. 20 million of the same type of shared costs that will be paid out of non-agency, but have a direct health and human service focus. Senior services for 26.7 million, which includes our adult day centers, home delivered meals, senior transportation, indigent burial, our senior centers, and finally $51.3 million to support Grady Hospital for the indigent healthcare services. That is what we have proposed. Next, we have infrastructure and economic development at coming in at $114 million. The departments that sit in the infrastructure and economic development focus include, we call them DREAM, but it's the Department of Real Estate and Asset Management. We have information technology, public works, economic development, and then we have some costs, once again, that sit in our non-agency. So DREAM provides transportation, logistics, facilities management. IT includes all of the IT operations of how we're able to, respond and move in this virtual environment. Public Works, we actually in the general fund support Public Works is a contribution for the work that they do over off of Fulton Industrial or within Fulton Industrial Boulevard. And finally, economic development for economic development activities. Finally, we have arts and libraries, that focus area. So there's a $39.6 million proposed investment, and $30.6 million of that is for our libraries, which include the operations, the services, the programming, and also cooperative extension. $6 million is for arts and culture for the centers and also for the contract for services. And then finally, there is a non-agency shared service cost that are shared costs, I should say, that has an arts and library focus. I know that those were a lot of numbers. What I do invite you all to do is also hear us when we present to our Board of Commissioners this Wednesday, because we are going to present in a little bit greater depth of this proposed budget. We have the resources available online as well, and our proposed budget booklet. But where we are is we really take time to present. And for me, really quickly, it's almost like Tetris, right? You're trying to fit all of the pieces in and make it all work. And so with the limitations we have tried our best to make sure that citizens are provided services within the resources that we have available. So on the screen is the budget development calendar, and we've started all the way back in March, and now we're here. Today is December the 4th. So we did release the proposed budget on November the 15th. It's available online. The clerk has a copy of it if you wanted to see it in on hard touch it type. Next would be December the 6th, which is Wednesday at the first BOC meeting in December. So we're also going to have the official public hearing as it relates to the proposed budget, but we are going to make the presentation of the proposed budget. After December the 6th, we would look forward to the final adopted budget occurring anytime after December 6th, but no later than the second board meeting in January. I know that was a lot in a short period of time. I thank you for the opportunity. I'm available to answer questions, or if additional information is needed, I will make myself available. And thank you, Commissioner Arrington, for the opportunity to present to our citizens what we have proposed.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. Where have they been hiding you? That was awesome. Great presentation.
I've been on the other side.
They need to let you do that more often. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for walking us through the budget. Um, it's so important again that we hear from our residents about the budget, their concerns, their priorities. We believe that we have an idea, but our finance team and our county manager are in charge of our budget, and they do a lot of numbers crunching, right? But this is more than about just numbers. This is about people. This is about services, and so that is where the Board of Commissioners comes in and helps uh, provide oversight to the great budget that our finance team pulls together. So I think that's it, unless we have any questions. I see someone Q&A. Councilwoman Rowell, good evening. So glad to have you. Uh, is Fulton County looking at innovations such as Live 911 to better service residents? There have been many complaints about slow response times. Brookhaven has introduced Live 911. We need additional dispatchers assigned to the city of South Fulton. Also, will a senior center be built in the city of South Fulton? All right, so let's I don't know that Sabrina can answer that question about Live 911, but we can certainly follow up with you, Councilwoman Rowell, to find out the answer about supplementing our 911 services. Certainly, if there's a greater need in the city of South Fulton, then we need to try to do something to address that, and perhaps Live 911 may be better than uh, hiring additional employees, particularly in this time when it's difficult to hire and retain staff anyway. So we certainly can ask Matt Collemeyer and Joe Brazone. Yeah, I can't. I may be mispronouncing his last name. What is it, Dorsha?
Bereswan.
Bereswan, Joe Bereswan, our emergency management director. If he has considered Live 911, and if he hasn't, if he will at least look into it. All right. The other question was about a senior center in the city of South Fulton. I am hopeful that we will be able to build a senior center in the city of South Fulton. Certainly is needed. We've got a great senior center in East Point, and East Point is probably has what 1/5 or 1/6 of the amount of residents as the city of South Fulton. So certainly, if there's one needed in East Point, there's certainly one needed in the city of South Fulton. The challenge with that, I think we've identified land. The challenge with that for 2024 and our 2024 budget is the replacement jail and the roughly $2 billion that will be needed for the replacement jail, which obviously won't be coming out of our budget. We're going to be doing a bond deal with the South Fulton or South Regional Municipal Jail Authority in order to finance that. But I think we will have to do. Sabrina, do you know the number that we have to that we're for 2024 that we're contributing for the jail replacement jail?
We have a jail bridging plan that we have proposed to include in the sheriff's budget. That's about 19 million. But in non-agency, we also have about $10 million for debt bond costs if we end up issuing bonds to start the design and things like that. So no building yet. I think the next step, of course, with your direction would be the issuing of bonds so that we can start the design work. And so we did build in $10 million for debt service if we have to issue bonds for that. But I'm sorry, to answer your question though, Commissioner, we do have monies budgeted in 2024 to assist with the maintenance of the jail, this jail bridging gap, while we receive direction and final guidance as to where we're going for the jail replacement jail.
Thank you. So, the building of a senior center would likely take, let's just say, 3 to 5 years from my experience with the county. And so I know that it is a senior center in the city of South Fulton is a high priority. Um, I just don't know that it is as high a priority as our replacement jail. Um, I think we do have a location where we anticipated building it over on Stonewall Tail across from the South Fulton Annex. But I will have to follow up and get back with you, Dorsey, if you can make sure we follow up with Councilwoman Rowell about timeline for senior center, because I do not know that that has been part of the discussion or that finance included it as part of their planning for 2024.
There's
Yeah,
also
someone else just sent in another comment saying, please budget for maintenance of detention ponds. Um, Unfortunately, that is probably not really viable at this point. My understanding, what we did last year, there were several detention ponds throughout the county, not only in the city of South Fulton, but throughout the county, city of Atlanta, Roswell, and throughout. And that the county relinquished its easement to enter in and provide for emergency maintenance for those. Um, so we put that to a vote with the last Board of Commissioners, and unfortunately, it did not pass. Perhaps there may be a way um, for us to revisit that. I did send our county manager some information about some federal grants that were available, and so maybe there is a way to revisit that. Um, and then senior center. Not only do we have to budget for the cost of building the building, but then we'd also have to budget for additional staff to man that building. So we have to look at all of those, and I'm thankful for your input and your responses, and I will be sure uh, to pass the word to the rest of the commission and to our county manager and CFO that these are some of the concerns that we have heard back from our residents and constituents uh, at this town hall, and certainly we will do it at any other, um, pass along any other input that we receive in our other 2 upcoming town halls as well. So thank you, Councilwoman Roel, for being with us here tonight. Pleasure to have you. Thanks to everyone for attending and helping us talk about the 2024 budget. We will, I guess we'll see you guys on Wednesday at the board meeting, if not before. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We hope that you found this information, this presentation informative, and that you will reach out to us via email and to the other commissioners so that your voice can be heard. I tell people all the time, I never knew that one email could knock down 1,000 doors. And so please feel free to email us and to, again, let us know your priorities and how you would like for us to prioritize your 2024 Fulton County budget. Thank you. All right, I guess with that, we will call it a night. God bless and good night.
Thank you.